Well, no, because the thing
I already
is,
fucked up what happened to him, so I don't think I'm good with the details.
It's
a little
all-
rusty. Next thing you know, there'll be car bombs going off and shit.
I want to know the best show you've ever been to.
Oh, great. One that always comes to mind, and this is not the answer. I know you're gonna make fun of me. This is just one that just blew me the fuck away. Is Wise Intelligent at the Middle East Upstairs. I just was going, this, of course, from the Poor Righteous Teachers. Yeah. Those who know hip hop know this is one of the greatest rappers of all time, not someone to be ever tested. I mean, a fucking absolute wordsmith. I mean, a poet extraordinaire. A bit hyperbolic in certain conspiracy theories. Nevertheless, I went to see him, and first of all, it was a ton of people there, which was just great to see, and he just killed it. Have you ever gone to a show and seen somebody just like fucking murder, like 25 tracks in a row, not miss a beat? Unbelievable.
I saw Jessie Reyes at House of Blues, and I'm not like a huge live performing person. Jessie Reyes, she's a singer, but she does like a little bit of everything, and it was one of those things for what it was, she had the whole entire room in the fucking palm of her hand, and she just I walked out going like, wow, she's a really good fucking performer. Like she knew what the fuck she was doing. And I know it's not what you're looking for. No, I mean, I just went to a show like that. I saw Drake do that too at BU.
Chops.
I saw Drake do it at BU, and I was impressed by it's when Drake was first coming up, and we were doing security for Wizard and shit, and we were the guy. We happened to be the stage people too, so I was on stage with them.
Funny.
And yeah, it's hilarious.
I didn't know you worked for Wizard.
Yeah, everyone did.
Yeah,
I did too.
Did you too? Everyone worked for
point,
Wizard.
yeah.
And fucking, I seen Drake do it at BU, just control the room. I knew he couldn't see the people either because I couldn't see them, and he was like, "Yeah, you girl over there in the white." And I'm like looking, I'm like, he can't see nothing, and she's like, because we were on stage with them, on the sides to make sure people would come up. And fucking, he killed it. He made the room feel like.
I heard one Drake song ever in my life.
Odyssey.
I believe
no,
it.
No, it was 0 to 100.
Odyssey was the dude that I was. Just
Odyssey the rapper. He's coming to town, isn't he?
Yeah.
Did he do? Is it next week or something?
I know it's coming up soon. I know it's in the next.
Odyssey's a fucking genius, man.
He's so dope.
He's amazing. Yeah, he is that good, isn't he? Yeah, I've seen him. I saw him at South by Southwest years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I want to give one thing that not the best show I ever saw, but one thing that always comes to mind, and I'll inject a little bit of exaggeration to the story, but you'll know where it is that, but it's all true. I'm backstage at one of the Jammin' concerts. It's the T-Pain era. T-Pain's the big headliner, and Chameleonaire, who is one of the best live performers I've ever seen. He is also back there, and there's 5 people who hadn't gone on yet. And somebody from Jammin' comes and they go the sound is off. We have the mics working, but we need 20 minutes. Can anybody come out and rock, basically a cappella? And the exaggeration is that's when T-Pain jump behind a fucking the T-Pain jump behind a partition. Chameleonaire, man, stepped to the plate, went out there and gave that crowd the best part of the show. It was just absolutely unbelievable. But
he's
best
an underrated spitter.
Best show great rapper. Best show I've ever seen, because it's, and obviously there's part because you can't beat this era, part because I was a kid, part because these memories just last in your brain. But was the Fugees at the Smoking Grooves tour.
I was there. Yeah.
I was at the Garden State Art Center one, and at one point, this Wyclef is rap. I think he's rapping "Staying Alive," and he's bending over, and a dude grabs his chain, big chain he has right on him, and the security pulls him up, the guy out of the crowd, and he's got a mask on, and they pull it off, and it's Praz, and he grabs the mic, and it's just the crowd's and at the same day, Erykah Badu, nobody had ever heard her. She got out there, and a fucking single woman.
Weren't the Black Eyed Peas in that tour too when they were before
I don't
Fergie?
Think, no,
that was before Fergie.
I'm not trying to be cool. If they were, I don't remember.
I think
but
love
a single person. I've never seen a single person bring a person who nobody ever heard of, bring a crowd to their knees with Tyrone. It was magic, absolute magic. Never forget it. And of course, Cypress Hill. But just true memories. And then, but I could go on. I mean, it's been to thousands and thousands of shows.
The only I'm thinking of with the Erykah Badu shit, you must know the story about Tracy Chapman and fucking Nelson Mandela's birthday. And that was one of the first times that pay-per-view was it was the biggest at the event. It was in Wimbledon. It was in South Africa. Had the biggest amount of people that ever been in one place for a concert at the time. and it was on pay-per-view. So it was one of those events you had to call in for pay-per-view back then type shit. Right. Tracy Chapman was an unknown, and before the Rolling Stones went on, like right before the end of it, the Rolling Stones were going to headline, the fucking power went out. So they had to have someone come on with an acoustic guitar, and Tracy Chapman.
Really?
No one knew no one knew the fuck no one knew who she was.
Well, except you know who did know who she was everybody around here. She went to Tufts. And she was playing the Cantab Lounge.
But watch that.
That's great.
There's footage of it. Obviously, you can watch it. It's dope. Watch fucking the Revolution. She comes out and sings Revolution in Fast Car, and no one knows who the fuck she is. You can see them kind of. And she's singing Revolution to South Africans at Nelson Mandela's birthday as an unknown while people are waiting for Rolling Stones. And she takes the fucking house down. And it's just like, that's a fucking gangster-ass motherfucker right there. With an acoustic, because she's the only one that
Rolling Stones, that's like Rock's version of like opening for Wu-Tang. You just get
exactly.
shit thrown at you.
Yeah, no, exactly. And she killed it.
I saw a group called Apollo Sunshine open for the Wu-Tang at the Worcester Palladium once. You were probably there. And the crowd was not having it. This was like a rock band. I actually interviewed them about it like 10 years later, and the guy, the lead singer, threw a basketball into the crowd. They always did prop stuff, and he put his arms like this, and he goes, "I'll make you a deal. If you guys can, I won't move. You get my face at the backboard. If you sink it." And let me tell you, the crowd spent the next 10 minutes destroying all their equipment with the basketball, like gunning at guitars, the whole thing. And it is one of the most ludicrous stories. It turned out that they were friends with the booker who called them like that day and was like, "Dude, I need someone to like open for Wu-Tang. They're not gonna get here at 12." And they're like, "Sure, that sounds fun." Worst experience of their fucking life, man. Although they made the best of it. They're always a funny group.
You told me a story once about. You told me like half a story about fucking Lil Wayne.
Oh, come on! Don't make me tell the Lil Wayne.
You don't tell the Lil Wayne story, right? But like, you got to give us before we go. You got to give us like in your travels and your shit. You got to give us something.
I just think the thing about Lil Wayne is that he's like, now that like Kanye is an example of like being a fucking ego, like megalomaniac gone bad. Wayne's like the example of a megalomaniac gone. He's never really fucking threatened anyone but his own health. You know what I mean? But this guy, I don't know if it's only when he was around reporters and I spent probably like 4 times with him. He is. It's like this is unbelievable, and somebody's got to act like that. Bob Marley, from what I'm told, behaved like that, just like totally crazy, like slippers and. You know, girl on each arm.
Who's the guy with the aviator?
What?
That guy, Howard Hughes? Oh, no, you're talking about like straight like fucking.
Howard Hughes kind of shit, you know? One time, when they were doing the lugs thing, they had a guy who was with them, and everybody talks about Snoop with the blunt roller. Everybody used to have blunt rollers, and they had one who would just roll like one into the crowd. They had a 40-person entourage. They had but I swear, a flatbed, one of those like hand trucks, but the long ones, with like 100 pairs of lugs for one photo shoot. How many fucking pairs of shoes are you gonna wear over here? They had, but the thing the story that always comes up is that he
a flatbed truck full of boots.
Because they're from the South. They had gotten, it was in New York City. They'd gotten all this Southern food.
Okay.
And from some shitty fucking New York Southern food place. Wayne, like nobody's can eat until like him and Baby have eaten, and like so he goes through the line finally after like we all, from what I recall, like starving. Has this big plate of food, takes one bite of the food, turns around. Now he's got all these reporters there. It's a press junket, right? Turns around, yells, "Yo, who the fuck made this shit? Martha Stewart?" Throws the fucking plate of food, covers the fucking wall, the window overlooking the West Side Highway in macaroni and cheese, and then turns around, looks across the fucking, I don't know who he's talking to. It's assistant, one of many assistants, goes, "Yo, bitch, go get me some motherfucking Chinese food. And make sure they don't forget the ketchup this time." And this is just par for the fucking course, dude. It was just par for the course. And you know what? Because someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Wordsworth wasn't going to act like that. You know?
No.
One of the great,
so, yeah.
You know, but, and,
you got some shit.
And Wayne, by the way, I was thinking about doing this, although I don't know if I want to get into it. Like, I was considering giving Lil Wayne a chance. I was considering listening to all his albums. I don't want to ask people's opinions as to where I should start.
I've almost thought of it, but I don't think that's
because
I'd be interested to know.
I mean, here's the thing about Wayne. Like, I'm sure he's learned it in his own.
Do you listen to Wayne?
It's earlier shit.
Is earlier shit?
Yeah.
You what?
It's earlier shit.
Like with like the first Carter album?
Yeah, Carter 1, Carter 2.
So what's he like 19 when he's recording those?
What is it?
I've never listened to a Lil Wayne album.
Let me tell you. The thing about Wayne is this,
Block
man.
is hot.
I'm happy
was
to.
What? He was.
What the fuck is he rapping about though? He's famous since he's 16.
Yeah.
He's not like some voracious reader. Everything I've ever heard from him is trite.
His wordplay
No, but,
is
okay.
from,
So he took Gilly style.
Gilly the Kid.
Yeah,
That's
and
fine.
ran with it.
That's
from,
style, but he made he's making 120 songs a year. What the fuck are they about? This is what I know.
I mean, all right. So he had a run from dedication, from like dedication mixtape to about, I want to say, I don't know, No Ceiling, right?
That's
that
an
was
album?
just like, yeah, No Ceiling. Well, it was a mixtape. So he just had like a run of like crazy mixtapes.
But he invented the mixtape. Used to have a definition before Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
He was the guy who was putting an album out every week.
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It was crazy. Like he made an incredible run, but it was all like his metaphors were like literally keeping.
It was poetry. So I wanted this. Yeah, I mean, it was.
He does have some cool his features and shit every now and then. I'm like, you
That-
can
so
tell
that's
the guy
why
has some talent.
I love that J Rock song, "All My Life." You know, that's
yeah.
And he's so my opinion is like this. Like I just don't like to fall for it because he'll say a lot of shit. And I don't want to spend too much time overthinking something that he just fucking pulled out of his ass.
Dude, we gotta get off my lawn, hip hop motherfuckers. Because I don't want to invest my time, and then like, okay, like I can only listen to like the thing once, like you know what I mean?
He's not boring, and that's one thing. There are these great rappers, like you ever heard like Vyro the Virus? He's dead. He's like the king. Of,
Jesus
he's
Christ.
like the king. He's like the king of New Jersey underground from like the 90s. He's unbelievable and talented, and Snow Goons did some shit with him. But he's so perfect that it's like after like 10 songs, I can't listen anymore. You don't get that with Wayne, and that's why he always excited people. And listen, man. The other thing is, as a hip hop reporter, sure, if I was reviewing albums and I was always critical of Southern hip hop, I was a real prick. But as far as like, I never had any question as to why the famous rappers are the famous.